Such was the mood when Jungkook appeared in his latest appearance of the year, a moment that shook the internet. Global fandom fell silent, and even fashion critics were forced to admit one thing: Jungkook had changed. But this is not just a change of hairstyle or dress. It feels like a transition from one era to another, a new chapter full of calculation and maturity. From a distance, he looked the same. The look in his eyes was still sharp yet gentle. His body gestures remained relaxed, but there was something different in his aura. More mature, stronger, and somehow calmer. Fans who have followed Jungkook's journey since his teenage years in BTS know how quickly the world revolves around him. From a 5-year-old boy who debuted on a small stage to a global icon who is now the face of the world's luxury brands. But the change in appearance this time is not just the work of a stylist or personal trainer. There was something deeper, a reflection of the personal, mental, and spiritual transformation she was undergoing away from the camera spotlight. In the Korean entertainment world, image is everything, and Jungkook knew very well how the world looked at his every step. Last year, she appeared in a still, safe style jeans, a jacket and long hair that were characteristic of her era when Seven and Standing Next to You shook the world. But this year, another. His body looked more muscular, his posture straighter, his jaw more defined, and his fashion more mature, minimalist, but classy. Many said, "This is no longer Jungkook, the golden maknae of BTS. This is Jeon Jungkook, the grown man who knows who he is now." As soon as her appearance appeared on social media, the timeline was immediately full of reactions. "She's changed so much. Is this a new concept? She looks like a runway model." But behind the furor, there is a much more interesting story. How this change was born, not from the demands of the industry, but from personal desire. Jungkook is no longer an identity-seeking teenager. He is a man who builds the best version of himself consciously, slowly, and for real. Not only fans were shocked, many media outlets also noticed small details that were previously missed, from the way he stood, to his street style, to gestures when interacting with staff and fans. All look more calm, confident, and have silent power that young idols rarely have. And that's what makes many people ask, what is really going on behind the scenes of this great change? Let's take a deeper dive. It's not just about fashion or changing bodies, but the meaning behind each new step Jungkook takes this year. Because in the world of celebrities, nothing is really a coincidence. Over the past few years, Jungkook has begun to shed his old identity in subtle but consistent ways. He rarely appears on variety shows, preferring to perform with characteristic solo projects. Many people do not realize that their physical changes are a reflection of their mindset changes. From diet to exercise, Jungkook no longer trains to look fit on camera, but to build a strong, stable, and healthy body. In a live broadcast last year, she even said that her body is a form of self-expression, not a tool for someone else's entertainment. This becomes an important point. Many K-pop idols keep up appearances due to industry pressure, but Jungkook does that out of personal desire. He knows the world sees him, but this time he's in control of his own visual narrative. The clothes she wears are now more monochrome tones, simple pieces but fit well on the body. In fashion, it is called quiet luxury, elegance that does not scream but still captivates. And it fits perfectly with the current Jungkook. His appearance in this year shows a fundamental change in the energy he radiates. No longer want to look cute or energetic as before. Now she wants to look calm, mysterious, but radiating strength. Fans call it the new aura. As he stepped into the airport in an all-black suit, and neat, short hair, the cameras stopped for a moment. "This is not Jungkook 2023, wrote one Japanese media outlet. "It's like the main character in a film noir, calm but dangerous." Interestingly, this change is not the result of a promotional concept. It's really Jungkook's personal choice that's starting to get more secretive but getting stronger in influence. He learns that becoming a global star is not just about being seen a lot, but about a presence that leaves an impression. And in that context, Jungkook's transformation is the result of a full awareness of his position in the global industry, from a molded idol to an icon leading the direction of the world's trends. Speaking of the body, people often focus on the results, not the process. But for Jungkook, every detail of his physical changes had an emotional meaning. It's not just about building muscle for aesthetics. For him, it's about upholding himself literally and symbolically. Fans who follow Jungkook's gym workouts know how disciplined and determined he is. But this time, the routine is more serious, planned, and even nuanced mental training. He often repeats a simple phrase in live: "I want to be strong, not just look strong." Jungkook's body now represents a long journey towards stability. In the past, his body tends to be slim and flexible, like a young dancer. Now it is more solid, with a strapping posture that demonstrates complete control. The trainers even called her transformation an ideal example of an adult idol's body evolution. But behind it is a more personal story. After a period of intensive solo promotion last year, Jungkook had a vacuum from the public media. It was in that time that he established a more structured routine: regular sleep, balanced eating, and weight training with a focus on mental clarity. Fans noticed the changes in her aura. Her face was cleaner, her skin was brighter, and her manner of speaking was quieter, as if she was completely comfortable in her own body. It's not just about visuals. In K-pop culture, an idol's body is often a symbol of public expectation. But Jungkook reversed that meaning. It makes his body not a symbol of stress, but rather a symbol of independence. He is free to set his own rhythm. That's why his physical changes feel so powerful to fans. Not just because it's better, but because it feels honest. It's as if every muscle formed is evidence of a journey of introspection, hard work, and self-acceptance. Jungkook is now seen not as an idol who follows beauty standards, but as a man who finds his own version of interesting definition. And maybe that's why the army feels so proud. Fashion always speaks louder than words, and Jungkook's style this year is the definition of calm but slapping. He no longer wears clothes with big logos or flashy colors. Instead, he chose neutral tones: black, gray, beige, and white. But that's where the power is. Her minimalist style stands out precisely for her confident attitude. He doesn't need to scream through clothes to attract attention. In the world of fashion, this is called the power of restraint, which indicates that a person has gone beyond the need to prove himself. When he appeared at the airport wearing a light grey linen shirt, loose-fit pants and sunglasses, netizens immediately called him the Quiet Storm. Jungkook now dresses like an international model, but not in a forced style. This is a natural result of personal experience and understanding of style. He knows what fits, what doesn't, and how to convey his character through clothing. Even the stylists of Calvin Klein are called to give her complete freedom because her fashion instinct is already in the class of professional models. Interestingly, behind every Jungkook outfit, there is a broader message. His identity no longer belongs to the industrial system, but to himself. She dresses not for the fans, not for the cameras, but for herself. And ironically, that's precisely why all eyes can't stop looking. As soon as Jungkook's new look spread, social media exploded. Army around the world posted the same reaction. She looks different, but somehow feels right. From Twitter to TikTok, millions of comments flowed in. Not just about the physical look, but the overall aura. Many fans wrote that they felt as though they saw a new Jungkook, but also the most original version. "He looks like the guy who finally found himself," wrote one fan from the Philippines. "I saw him as an idol. Now I see him as a man who lives quietly." It's interesting because Jungkook's change also changed the emotional connection between him and his fans. He is no longer just an object of admiration, but a figure who inspires through authenticity. Fans feel like they grew up with him. There's a sense of pride, but also a thrill, to see someone they used to know as an energetic teenager now transformed into a stable, authoritative man. And therein lies the strength of this narrative. Jungkook is no longer just about music, but about man's journey to find the best version of himself. As soon as Jungkook came up with his new style, short black hair, noticeably healthier skin, and a much calmer facial expression, the world seemed to stop for a moment. There was something different about the way he looked at the camera. In the past, his gaze was always filled with youthful vigor, a mixture of shyness and self-confidence, typical of a child of the 22nd who was just discovering the world. Now, the gaze was deep, sharp, and felt mature, like someone who has been through a lot and now stands quietly at the top of a mountain that once seemed impossible to climb. Jungkook's aura this year is completely new. He was no longer the idol that everyone wanted to like. He is like someone who has made peace with himself. And because of that, his charm is even greater. In the theory of visual performance, this is called presence maturity, when an artist does not need to strive to look attractive, because his presence alone is enough to fill the space. This is Jungkook's phase now. Fans describe his aura as calm fire. A fire that does not flare up, but burns slowly and consistently. Interestingly, these changes are not without reason. In several interviews, Jungkook often talks about accepting time, accepting that he's grown, his career is evolving, and the world around him is changing. He didn't want to fight the change, but instead use it to grow. Maybe that's why his aura now feels much stronger. He is no longer a teenager who wants to prove something to the world, but a man who knows that the world already believes in him. His new aura also influenced the way people viewed BTS as a whole. Many say Jungkook is now a representation of the group's own evolution, from a boy band full of energy to a symbol of maturity and sustainability. And that's what makes each of his appearances feel monumental. When the camera captured him walking casually, dressed in simple clothes, the whole world felt like it was watching a new chapter of a legend that was growing with time. There are not many idols who can make a big change without looking like they are trying too hard. But Jungkook manages to do it seamlessly, like the wind slowly changing the seasons without us noticing. In fact, if you look closely, all the changes are very planned. From haircuts, to clothing choices, to body gestures, everything forms a new, consistent impression. Jungkook works with a small team that has known him for a long time, a personal stylist, a physical trainer, and a photographer who knows how to capture the non-made-up side of him. He is not following a trend, but creating a trend that suits him. In fact, some fashion analysts are calling this year's look Jungkook Aesthetic 2, an evolution from the more experimental 2023 style to the more solid, masculine and minimalist 2025 style. Interestingly, all this was done without major announcements. There was no promotional campaign that mentioned Jungkook New Era or anything like that. It is precisely the silence that makes its impact even stronger. Fans feel like they are discovering something exclusive, a change that they observe little by little over time. And that's the power of visual storytelling. When a transformation is patiently designed, the audience feels part of the journey. Many artists try to change drastically in order to look different. But Jungkook chooses the opposite path. He slowly rearranges himself with small details that are honest and personal. From the way he styled his hair simpler to the way he sits now more upright and confident. All looks natural, but clearly deliberate, like a painting that looks simple even though every line counts. This is not an impromptu change, but the result of a long introspection of a person who already knows himself deeply enough to decide, this is the real me. Not only her appearance has changed, but also her lifestyle. Jungkook now lives like a man who truly understands his own balance. Fans who used to watch him play games until the morning, now here he focuses more on healthy routines, regular exercise, eating real food, getting enough sleep, even light meditation. In an interview, he said, "I learned that my body and my mind are connected. If one is tired, the other falls." It's a simple sentence, but it reflects real maturity, and that lifestyle is evident in the way he looks. He is no longer a young man who wants to look cool at every opportunity. He is now like an established man who knows when to appear and when to be silent. Her clothing style reflects her life principles, simple but quality. If in the past she often appeared in streetwear or oversized outfits, now she prefers elegant tailored pieces. He looked like someone who had just come out of a fancy magazine shoot, even though he was actually just passing by at the airport. Many fashion media highlighted this transition. Vogue Korea even wrote an article titled, "From Boy to Man: The Subtle Power of Jungkook's Transformation," discussing how Jungkook's changing style reflects true emotional maturity. His gentleman style is now not only in clothes, but also in the way he carries himself. His manner of speaking is slower and calmer, his gestures are more restrained, and his smile less frequent but much more meaningful. All this makes Jungkook now look like an authoritative figure, not just popular. He has grown into a balanced representation of the modern Korean man. Disciplined but gentle, stylish but not excessive, successful but still humble.